people get involved in your campaign. They say, you know what, I love this woman, I love what she's doing, she's fighting for us.
And I expect all of you guys to get involved with conservative media and be heard today, tax April 15th, and again November, when we take this country back from the people that are trying to control you and make this into a socialist state. We're not standing for it. Thank you very much.
These people are speaking it out here. They're letting you know what's going on.
Conservative media peeps, what's up? This is a very special video. It's a breaking video. It's explosive, and you need to understand what's going on here. Today, and actually even yesterday, there's been some breaking things that have happened in this California 11 CD11 race where my client, Brad Goehring, for Congress is running, and he really is the best choice, and he definitely needs and wants and asks for and deserves your vote. David Harmer, who is a lawyer who doesn't even live in the district and has run for office 3 times in 2 different states. First in Utah in 1996 or somewhere around there, I believe. And then here over in CD10 and lost to Democrat Congressman Garamendi. And now he's over here in CD11. Has just been rocked with some allegations of him basically taking unemployment insurance after having received almost $500,000 as an executive for a bank that got bailed out by TARP funds, if I'm reading this article correctly. Now again, we're not making any claims or allegations here. This is all for entertainment and informational purposes only, so we're making no factual claims. We're going to point you to some articles here. This is all our personal opinion. Down here in the description. The first one is this article from the Stockton Record, who goes into the whole situation, and they're saying that Washington Mutual, who David Harmer worked for, apparently was on the then got bought by J.P. Morgan Chase. J.P. Morgan Chase received $25 billion in federal bailout money, and then David Harmer received, let's see here, something like $485,779 over the next, over the previous 5 quarters before he was fired or downsized or laid off or whatever it is. And then he went on to file for unemployment and took almost $2,400 in unemployment. Now think about that. Unemployment insurance is for people who really, really need it. This guy, David Harmer, is supposedly running as a principled conservative, fiscally responsible, against big government, all that type of stuff, against tax and spending. This guy gets almost $500,000 when Americans are getting crushed. They're getting destroyed by a lot of the practices that some of these banks were instituting. These Wall Street banks, or Washington Mutual was on the forefront, I believe, if I have this right, of doing all these kinds of crazy loans that got us into trouble in the first place with all these mortgages and stuff like that. So this guy makes a killing off of this, and then he gets laid off, and then he goes and files for unemployment insurance. It's a pins of money. Apparently he's got a bunch of assets, $200,000 of that. What in the world? This just smacks of all kinds of scandal to me personally, in terms of being hypocritical on where your policies are. Or can you walk your walk, man? That's what I want to know. Are you just someone that's going to look for a bailout or a government handout or something like that, especially if you don't need it? It'd be one thing if you need to feed your family, or if you have to make the house payment or something like that. But I mean, dude, compared to what he got, that $2,400 was chump change. This is when people are, states are running out, because it's not just that David Harmer got some money, it's that states are running out of unemployment insurance here, and people that absolutely rely on it are going to go without, if they run out of that stuff. And David Harmer didn't make that situation any better, in my personal opinion. Paul, you covered this story. You've been following it. I know John Haida and RT American has been covering as well. What did you find out on this, and what's your opinion, your personal opinion, on David Harmer being accused of taking unemployment insurance? And I think this was his own disclosure to the FEC, if I believe that right. And I know Elizabeth Emken has put out a mailer blasting him for this and a lot of other things. What's up with this situation?
Well, in my own personal opinion, John, I think that what we have now is a situation where you have somebody who is a certified Wall Street lawyer, clearly the establishment candidate. I believe he was recruited for this race, just another, CD10 to CD11. This is, again, this is not the year for this, if there ever is a time for this. This is a Tea Party year. People don't want the establishment polished, good old boy insider network. And with these allegations and these charges about, what some people in the Emken mailer is saying is ambition and greed. That's not us saying that. That's the mailer saying that. This puts David Harmer outside of what I believe most conservatives are looking for in the 11th district.
Well, and agreed, and I agree with your opinion, and that's my personal opinion too. My point is this: what do you think about him taking unemployment insurance after making almost $500,000 in just over a year? What do you think about the values of that? What do you think about the propriety of that? And what do you think about like the apparent hypocrisy and disconnect between what David Harmer says and he believes in, and maybe what he does?
Well, in my personal opinion, I think it's a situation where you have somebody that's under double dipping. I mean, you have them taken, they're getting, supposedly, the allegation is that he's getting money directly from federal bailouts or trickle down from federal bailouts, and then he's going back and getting the unemployment insurance as well. Didn't we have hearings for people like this?
Maybe we did. But Emken's mailer, I've got it right here. And it starts out like this. Harmer took $485,000, $800 in bonus and pay from Wall Street bailout banks seized by federal regulators, then turned around and filed for unemployment insurance. Now, that's what they say and that's what they claim. Here's the thing. If that's true, think about that and contrast it to a man like Brad Goehring, who's fighting against the government from trying to, tell him what to do with his land. Maybe you'll fine him for trying to farm his land and stuff like that. So here's a guy who's done everything right, in my opinion, Brad Goehring, who's running for Congress and doing a great job out there of trying to, just build businesses, just farm the land out there, get the water turned on in the Central Valley because of, farming is the #1 thing in the valley out there. He's trying to do the right thing. And here you've got David Harmer, who apparently worked for a Wall Street bank that got bailed out, who then, he gets a big, huge payout from that, and then he files for unemployment insurance when, in our opinion, he didn't need it. You get $500,000, okay, in just over a year. You don't need $2,400, okay, David Harmer, for unemployment insurance. You don't need that. And I don't think that squares with conservative principles. You know who needs that? The waitress that gets fired, the mechanic that gets fired, the farmers in the Central Valley that got laid off because the EPA won't run the freaking water. That's who needs this. And I'm saying this stinks. I'm saying we're going to check into it. This is just the first of many videos that we might be looking at this. And we got a lot of other things. And I just want to know, again, I'm going to come out with it. What is this guy all about? Is this a hidden agenda Harmer? Question mark. I don't know. But we're going to ask you, and we're going to do a little more digging to find out what's what and what's going on. I am John. That is Paul. We are Conservative Media. We thank you, and we'll see you next time.